Hello everyone, welcome back to Watch with Marcella, where today we are here for another top 10 list. This time, these are the top 10 things I want to see in a Harry Potter series. I am so excited about this Harry Potter series coming to Max in 2024. Is that right? I don't know. I think. Okay, so I am very excited, but I also have conflicting reasons. So let's do a little bit of backstory. First of all, this is my wand. I have several wands throughout this Harry Potter room, which if you guys ever want to see the Harry Potter room, let me know. I could do a room tour down below and show off my stuff. Who doesn't love to show off their stuff?
Behold, my stuff.
Anyway, so there are many wands throughout the room, but this wand in particular is mine. This was the wand that I got at Ollivander's in Hogsmeade at Universal Studios. I just said all of that very Snape-like. So many pauses in between each phrase.
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
It's 7 a.m., okay? This coffee, there's only a few sips out of it. I need more. All right, so we're here to talk about the top 10 things I want to see in the Harry Potter series. Why do we want to talk about this? Because the Harry Potter series is coming to Max, like I said, in 2024, I believe. And while I am super excited, the original movies are only 20 years old. That first movie is only 20 years old. So, I mean, 20 years old is a whole grown-ass child, but at the same time, it's not long enough to really need a redo. You know what I mean? Like, I've always felt that Wizard of Oz had way too many redos over the years. You needed to let like 50, 60, 100 years pass before you tried to redo the magic that was the Wizard of Oz. And I still don't know if it's time for a proper redo. None of them have held a candle. Technology has come to a point where we might get, that Oz movie with James Franco was weird, but beautiful. So, I mean, we're on the right track, so maybe, but is it time for Potter yet? I don't know. And it's going to be so hard to cast, but there are certain things in these books that were not portrayed correctly in the films. And we all know what I'm talking about. We do. So, with the assistance of my very own wand, I will be bringing you the top 10 things I want to see in the new Harry Potter series coming to Max. So, first up, number 10. This could be a little controversial. So, I am assuming they're going to recast everyone, but there are a few exceptions to that rule, and number 10 is starting us off with that, and that is Shirley Henderson as Moaning Myrtle. Shirley Henderson, she's been great. She has a lot of range. I believe she was in the Bridget Jones movies. She was also in a Doctor Who episode, one of my least favorite David Tennant Doctor Who episodes. But as Moaning Myrtle, she is a treat. And since, it's a ghost, and there can be CG done, she can be de-aged if they need to de-age her down to the same age that she was in the films. The same age range. I mean, she barely looked like a student in the films. But she's so good at it. She has a lot of my favorite parts. Her in Chamber of Secrets, chef's kiss.
10 points if you get it through her stomach. 50 points if it goes through her head.
Who was it, Myrtle?
I don't know. I was distraught.
She's so good. She's just so good. She's a little predatory in Goblet of Fire, but she's my number 10. I want to see her stay as Moaning Myrtle. That takes us into number 9. I'm going to forget probably halfway through to use this wand. I can guarantee it. Number 9 is I want Jim Dale to narrate this show, a la Pushing Daisies. If you've seen Pushing Daisies, the show with Lee Pace, oh, why is Lee Pace so pretty? Like, have you ever really looked at Lee Pace's face? He's so pretty. Anyway, caught up in the pretty. Anyway, Jim Dale narrated all 7 Harry Potter books in the US. Someone let me know down below in the comments story the reasoning behind Stephen Fry and Jim Dale, why we have 2 different narrators. UK swears by Stephen Fry. I swear by Jim Dale. I think Jim Dale tops, and that's why I want him to narrate this show. I think all of the exposition in the novels can be handled by narrating the show, and I want Jim Dale to do it. So, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, done. Let's move on to number 8. I want a formulaic structure to this show. There are 7 books. I want 7 seasons. I don't want you breaking this up. You've got a lengthy amount of time. If you do this in, I don't know, let's say 6-hour blocks, you've got 6 hours to tell 7 stories. That should be enough time, right? I would watch 6 one-hour episodes 7 times over. I like it. Or if you want to stick to the theme that there are always 7s in Harry Potter, then you could do 7 episodes over 7 seasons for 7 books. I want 1 book a season. That's it. No more, no less. We don't need to drag this out. Now, I know this is all dependent upon if this show does well. If it gets past the first... So, I'm pinning all of my hopes on Sorcerer's Stone, and go ahead, call it Philosopher's Stone. We're American. We can say philosopher. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's not like maintenance. Like, that's a little harder. And that's not even a UK word. That's just a hard word for me to say. So, go ahead. Call it Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. That's the name of the book. I don't understand the publishers and why they changed it to Sorcerer's Stone. I actually think sorcerer is harder to say than philosopher. But, getting way off track. Anyway, put all of the first book in the first season. I want to see all of it. Okay? So, let's move on to number 7. And the tragic story of Winky, the house elf. The movies completely cut out Winky because they completely changed the story and the history of the Crouch family. So I'm giving you season 4 to redo a lot of things. And that will come in a little bit later, a little higher up in the list. But long story short, there is a house elf named Winky who, much like Dobby was tied to the Malfoy family, Winky is tied to the Crouch family. And some bad things happened to Winky. And after those bad things happened, she remained throughout the rest of this story. And she was a tragic little house elf. She was kind of the opposite of Dobby. Dobby wanted nothing but to be free. And the minute he got free, he just wanted to help. And he worked at Hogwarts. And he even got Winky a job at Hogwarts in the kitchens. Spoiler alert. But she was drunk most of the time because she didn't want to be free. She wanted to be a house elf, and she wanted nothing but to work for her family, who fell. Her family fell, and they fell hard, and she was depressed most of the time. And I don't know why I want to see this tragic story, but she's such a huge part of that story that they just cut her completely out. We gave Creature a very tiny little morsel, so maybe we'll expand this category to House Elves Redeemed. I want to see all of the House Elves stories, and I want to see them all redeemed. I want to see them all. Let's go. All right. If you're enjoying this list, don't forget to hit that like button for me. I would appreciate it greatly. Number 6, the house tournament and the house points. In the first movie, we talked about the house points and how when you did good things, you got house points. When you did bad things, you lost house points. And then at the end of the movie, we went through and we did the house tournament, and Dumbledore cheated. I said what I said. I love me some Dumbledore, but he straight up cheated. And you can see why, like, in my heart, I'm still a Gryffindor, but I've accepted my fate. We've talked about this before. I've accepted my fate as a Ravenclaw. The test doesn't lie. And I can understand in my Ravenclaw heart why the Slytherins are the way they are when they won the house tournament that first year. But Dumbledore did some bullshit and switched it so Gryffindor could win. You know? Nope. Nope. He did some tricky math. Some tricky math, sir. Anyway, I want to see that because it's an important part of each book. I want to see the house tournament and the house points. They mentioned it throughout the films here and there, but we never again saw that house tournament the way we did the first time because we didn't have time. Well, now we do. Every season should end with the house tournament. Okay? Except for, well, you know. I mean, you know what I mean. All the way up through, what, 6? Every season through 6 should end with a house tournament. Season 7's gonna be real dark. Anyway. Alright. I haven't forgotten. So moving on to number 5. We've got the Tri-Wizard Tournament. This is gonna be 3 eps. I want a large chunk of season 4 to be the Tri-Wizard Tournament. Now, don't get me wrong. Goblet of Fire is probably my second favorite Harry Potter movie. I love that movie. And I think while they did make some choices, it's still a good movie. I still enjoyed it because I know what they didn't do. Because I've read all the books. I've listened to the audiobooks a million times. I know what they didn't do. So I can fill in the gaps that are missing in the movie. It's fine. It's fine. It's not as bad as Half-Blood Prince. That's a little harder to swallow down. Anyway, with more time to tell the proper story that we had, I want each task to be an episode. So, you've got 7 episodes. 3 of them are going to be devoted to the Tri-Wizard Tournament. Okay? That's what I want. I want to see that Sphinx. I want to see so much of that tournament. And I'm going to throw all you fanboys a bone. I do think we need to see a little bit more of the World Quidditch Cup. We got a nice little teaser in the movie, but then they cut away right as the game was about to start. So I do think we need to see a little bit of that match because there are some important things and moves that Victor Crumb does in that match that kind of establish how he is as a character that they really were just like, look at this pretty boy. You don't need to know anything else about him. He's just a pretty boy. So I would like to see more of Victor Crumb, more of Cedric Diggory, more of Flora Delacour, and understand more about the Velas. The Velas? Vela? By the time the show comes around, I'll learn how to say that. I need to hear Jim Dale say it again. It's been a while. And how they kind of have cast a spell over the boys. We don't talk about that. It's kind of like teenage behavior. They're just looking at their butts while they're walking, but it's a little more than that. So we need to explore Goblet of Fire more and the Triwizard Tournament more. So that's my number 5. Moving on. Didn't forget the number 4. Ron's true character. So while I love Rupert Grint and I love Ron Weasley, this time I have the gorgeous Mina Lima books. If you don't have these Mina Lima books, I hate to give you-know-who more money. Ha ha ha! She has become her own... See what I did there? That's you-know-who. So, anyway, I hate to give her more money, but these Mina Lima books, the art in these Mina Lima books, I guess I'm giving more money to Mina Lima than I am you-know-who. They're just gorgeous. And so I've been reading them. I have the first 2. The third one doesn't come out until October, which wish list for Christmas, Mom, if you can hear me. Here's what I do. I listen to Jim Dale's book, or Jim Dale's audiobook, while reading the beautiful Mina Lima book. And I've watched the movie so many times that I cannot believe how many of Ron's amazing lines were given to Hermione in the movie. And so many of the things that he did were given to Hermione in the movie. It's weird, actually. So I want a proper Ron Weasley. That's what I'm asking for. A proper Ronald Weasley. Ronald Bilious Weasley. So, you've got the time. Again, that's what this is all about. The series has the time to expand upon the novels that the movies did not. So, give me Ron Weasley. Stop giving all his cool lines to Hermione. Hermione's got enough of her own cool lines. She doesn't need to be stealing Ron's. All right, moving on to number 3. This is directly related to number 7 because it was created because of Winky. And that is SPEW, the Society for the Protection of Elfish Welfare. Spew. She named it Spew. Yeah. You're a muggle born, Hermione. You have to know what Spew means. I get the rest of the students not knowing, but they knew, right? Yeah, they knew. They knew. And why'd she call it that? That's like Moo on Buffy. Calling it Moo? Really? Mother's opposed to the occult? Moo? Spew. Work on your acronyms, people. That's what we're learning. But I want to see Spew, and I want to see Hermione's passion for protecting house elves and how most of them don't want it and they don't want it from her and the students don't care, and she fights this battle to get this. It's important to who Hermione is as a character, and I think we need to see it. Number 2. I forgot. Number 2. Percy Weasley. So, I know you're a little surprised. I'm giving Percy Weasley such a high spot. But here's the thing. Percy Weasley had a huge redemption arc in the novels. And by Deathly Hallows, your boy Percy comes home in a big way. And it made me cry so hard when I read that book. I had the blanket up over my head, had a little light, and yeah, I was a full-grown adult, people. Full-grown adult weeping while reading this book. Weeping while reading this book. And I was very upset that they just kind of took Percy out of it. You know, we have that one scene in Order of the Phoenix, I think it is, where Percy kind of grips up Harry a little roughly with Cho Chang, I believe. And it's like, oh yeah, he works at the ministry. That's right, he graduated. No, Percy is a huge part of the books all the way through. And he does become quite the jerk. And he does go work for Fudge, and he does go work for the ministry, and he's quite opposed to his family. But then at the Battle of Hogwarts, guess who comes home, and guess who comes in clutch, and who sadly has to be there to watch one of his brothers die. And I want to see all of it. It's tragic, but it's beautiful, and I want it. That's all I ask. Please and thank you. And now, let's do an honorable mention before we get into number 1. Can you guess number 1? Do you know what it's going to be? You don't know. So our honorable mention is another cast member that I want back. And I think this is doable because he hasn't aged that much and we didn't get that much of the character. Do you know what I'm going to say? I want Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart. I loved his portrayal of Gilderoy Lockhart in Chamber of Secrets. It is probably why Chamber of Secrets is my favorite Harry Potter movie. Come at me in the comments. I don't care. It is my favorite. It has everything. It has everything. Including Gilderoy Lockhart. Gilderoy is one of the strangest characters in Harry Potter. But I love him so. He's such a buffoon. Do you live here?
It's an odd sort of place, this, isn't it? Do you live here? No.
And I want to see that again. And I think it's such a small part that I think he could just redo it. So, can we have it? Can I have Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart? Please and thank you. All right, let's get on to number 1. number 1. Peeves! We have to have Peeves. If this show doesn't have Peeves, I don't want to watch it. I said it. The number 1 thing missing from the movies was Peeves. And the fact that they had the actor from Drop Dead Fred shoot scenes as Peeves and then never gave them to us? Criminal! They're not even in a deleted scene. Criminal! I need Peeves. The only person that hates Umbridge more than me is probably Peeves. And I want to see him mess with her. Now that is one that I didn't mention is Imelda Staunton as Dolores Umbridge. Could she pull it off now? Do they need to recast it? I don't know. That could be another whole video, is casting the Harry Potter series, because I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to do. This is going to be hard. Good luck with that. Glad I don't. Glad it's not my job. But my job is to wrap this video up. So yes, Peeves. Peeves is the mischievous poltergeist that wanders the halls of Hogwarts. And he just causes havoc for no reason at all times. Because that's what poltergeists do. And he's fun. And he adds mischief, drama, comedy at the weirdest times. And I need to see it. And he spits bars on a regular basis. Especially about the Weasleys. And I want to see all of it. So please, please, please have Peeves on this show. All right, that's going to do it for my top 10 list of things I want to see on the Harry Potter series. Let me know down below in the comment section what you want to see on the Harry Potter series, or come over to the Discord and we can talk about it there. Until next time, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, do all those things. You know what to do. I tell you all the time. All right, I'm getting out of here. I got to go drink some more coffee. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.